Welcome into Rick Renner, Texas High School Hysteria. Make sure you tune in to our weekly show on YouTube and also subscribe to Apple and Google Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, or wherever else you listen to podcasts. Just ask Siri or Alexa to play it. Joining me now, the toast of the Alamo City and representing very well for the San Antonio Clark girls state championship team. I'm talking about head coach Arianna Houy and her superstar Arianna Roberson, who's considered one of the best basketball players in the country. Well, congratulations on your school's first ever state championship. Coach, are you enjoying walking around on all these red carpets these days?
Yeah, we're enjoying it. We're taking it all in. It's a lot and it's new to us, but we're trying to utilize every opportunity and seize every moment because we never know if this opportunity will happen again or not. So embrace it while it's here.
Arianna, I look at it and it seems like every other weekend you guys are getting honored here, there, and everywhere. Which one have you enjoyed the most so far?
Well, I just feel like we all did. It's obviously a great accomplishment that we all work towards. So just seeing that we're being rewarded and everyone kind of knows who we are now, it feels great.
You guys are walking around like Elvis in town. I mean, it's incredible. Coach, when you deliver the Northside ISD its first ever state championship, tell me what goes into designing the ring, because when you do something so special like this on the state's highest level, that ring has to be so big. I mean, it needs to be like a hubcap.
We didn't go for the hubcap size ring. We went for the medium ring, but no, it looks really good. It's we spent some time, our assistants came in and we made it look good, ran it by the girls, make sure they approved, and it's going to look really good. So we're excited to get it here within about the next month.
Tell me about what's the design as far as the relationship with the school and winning it in San Antonio. What are you going to put on the ring?
We put a Texas on the side of it, I believe. We put our record or the girls' jersey number with it. And on the front, we put the Clark logo with some diamonds around it. So we wanted to, and obviously it has 6A on it. We wanted to make sure that we're recognizing our school and our state.
That's beautiful. You got to have a lot of bling on that thing. I'm really excited to see how that thing turns out. Well, Arianna, you were able to stop DeSoto's three-peat attempt, and they were your nemesis. They knocked you out in the state semifinals and ended your state championship dream the year before. How much sweeter was it to take out the champs and DeSoto?
They say revenge is sweet, and so that was kind of like our goal coming back. Playing them again, we knew they knocked us out the first time, but it won't happen again, and just accomplishing the state dream per se. But DeSoto, they're obviously a really good school, but I feel like we just worked harder and we earned it. So
Coach, you look at winning a state championship, everything has to fall in place. You've obviously built this program, and it's been one of the most consistent in the state. But you need good health, you need role players stepping up, and you need your best players playing their best basketball like the one that's sitting next to you right now. And you need things like Natalie Huff in the state semifinals. Talk about what separated this team from everybody else.
I think there are a couple of things. The first thing I think that, really matters, and I preach this a lot, is the chemistry of the team. You can have the best players in the state on your team, but if they can't work together and pass the ball and mesh well, you're not going to be successful. It's not to the level of success that you want to be at. So I think the chemistry is really, really important. One thing that I pride them on is their ability to play amid adversity, and even last year when we played DeSoto, I had coaches who were coming and talking to me, hey, you encouraged me, you inspired me, your team inspired me. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And they said, well, the way you guys played DeSoto, you went out there and you played fearless. And so many teams, when they play powerhouses like that, they don't play that way. And your girls look like they played fearless out there. And so, I appreciate them and their buy-in. And so the opportunity to get to play them again this year was it was a repeat of last year. We're going to go in, go hard. We're not playing not to lose, we're playing to win.
Arianna, when you look at this team, where was that moment this season where you thought, wow, we have something special, and I think we can win it all and take home the UIL trophy?
So I would say at the beginning of our season, it was our goal to like get back to state and win it all. So just building off of that and working together. And we don't have like a one-man show around here. Everyone steps up and does their job, and we all like help each other. And I think it was really coming together towards like the second round or like going into playoffs, where we incorporated like everyone like on the bench and on the court. So like everyone did their job and helped us get to where we needed to be.
You were the state tournament MVP. You had 24 points and 15 whopping rebounds in the state championship game. When I watched you, it really felt like you were just in beast mode. Were you in just a different level when you got into the gym? I know they kind of frisk you in the opening lineups and stuff because they know that you're going to be a dangerous weapon when you get out there on the court.
I mean, that's the plan, to just go out there and play my game.
Did you feel, though, that you took it to another notch? Did you just feel like, okay, this is my opportunity, let's take it home?
Yes, definitely. Stepping on the court, we knew it was both of our last games, but it was just the team who wanted it more. We played hard, and we won. So I definitely.
Rihanna, the Roberson family has been so special to you. Do you find yourself kind of looking around, wondering if there are cousins or maybe some grandkids on the way?
Well, there are grandkids, but it might be a while before we get them through our program, because I think they're about 2 and 3 right now. So we'd have a while before them. But Arianna touched on something that's really important that I kind of alluded to with the chemistry piece of it too. If you look at our stats, let me back up. Historically, Clark girls basketball has not been a very strong program. It hasn't. Richard Herbst came in. I came in under him as his assistant, and he came in and he really turned the program around. They went from, a losing program into a winning program with what he was able to do. So hats off to him. I've just had to continue to steer the ship in the right direction. But, she said it's not a one-man show. We play together. And I think that's been the secret to our success for a while, is we don't rely on one person. We look at our stats over the past 5 years. You don't see one person scoring 24, 25 points. You see a bunch of kids scoring, 10, 15, 18 points a game. And that's the secret to our success too. Not just the chemistry. I mean, relying on other people to score the ball, because you shut one person down, one person gets in foul trouble. Then what? You have to have someone step up. And we've been really lucky this season, especially when one person who typically has a really strong game may not have a strong game, but then somebody else steps up in their shoes. One that sticks out is Caitlin Whitlock in the regional final game against Brennan. She kind of was up and down in her scoring, but she came in that game and she shot lights out in that game. And so I think she kind of surprised all of us, to be honest with you. But we needed those different pieces to work together in order to be successful when we have someone who typically does put up the points who isn't putting up that night.
Very well said. And it really is a team thing. And that's the part that I really like about you guys. We see that with the San Antonio Spurs. It was always a team thing, passing good to great, getting the better shot. And I know you guys think the same way, and playing great defense as well. Now, when you coach the Roberson family, though, and you're dealing with all these superheroes and superstar athletes and basketball players, how do you coach them?
They're not very hard to coach, because they know the game. You know what I mean? Like, her sister came through our program her freshman year, and they understand it. It's just a matter of, you can tell them, hey, this is what we want to do. This is the change we want to make. And you don't have to break it down for them. They understand. They're very basketball savvy. So it makes it really, really easy. Probably the biggest challenge for us last year when Aaliyah and Arianna played together was keeping them from fighting each other in practice. But it was a good rivalry, and they make it fun. They definitely make it fun, competitive, but fun.
Arianna, who won all those battles between you and your sister?
We never got to that point. Everyone broke us up.
You're the baby of 7 kids. Obviously, Aaliyah's doing big things at TCU. Your older brother, Andre, who did big things with the Oklahoma City Thunder, considered one of the best defensive players in the NBA. I'm just kind of curious, what were the family picnics like for you? Because you guys are all so darn competitive.
Yeah, definitely. It was never a dull moment. We all had our fun. Like, there's so many different personalities going around. So when we do, competitive things. Like we all like, it's not always basketball. It can be like sand volleyball. Like we played tennis before. So it's just, we compete and go out there and have fun.
Did you ever have kind of a chalkboard in the background that said like the all-time series who's winning? And I'm curious if it was you.
No, we've never had that. It's just in our heads. We just keep those tallies in our heads. But sometimes it was me, other times it wasn't. And I'm proud to say that too.
So did mom and dad have a basketball in your hand when you were born?
No, I was actually going to my siblings' games, watching their basketball games and everything and experiencing that. So I really didn't start basketball until like 6th grade and like 7th, 8th. So yeah, I just went to like my brother's camps that they threw. So
Coach, it's not often you have two sisters that come through a program with this kind of skill, talent, and they're great human beings that we hear so much about. How do you coach that talent and push them to get to that next gear because they're so good?
I mean, in some ways it's really fun and really easy, but in some ways it's challenging. You know, once we make it to playoffs, we usually try to change things up a little bit with bringing up some JV kids and having a scout team and this, that, and the other. You know, this year, quite frankly, with Natalie, having someone to guard Natalie and having someone to guard Caitlin, having someone to guard Arianna, we kind of looked around and we're like, who can really challenge them? You know, last year, Aaliyah and Arianna could challenge each other. But you know, we just didn't have the height and the physicality to match, you know, Arianna, or the speed to match Natalie and Caitlin. So we look to our guys, and we have some freshman JV kiddos who they'd come over and we'd scrimmage against them and they'd kind of rough us up a little bit. I really think that helped us in the long run because, you know, aside from our assistant coach, Coach Byrne, nobody else could match up height or, you know, the physicality that Arianna needed to challenge her in practice. Because, you know, I tell them all the time, your minutes are earned in practice and games are won in practice. And if we can't match what we're going to end up seeing in the state tournament, we're going to have a tough road ahead of us. So our boys, our scout team really helped us in preparing us for the state run.
That was really huge because you didn't care about the physicality. You know, that's the thing about the tournament. As you advance, you know, you see more speed and you see more physical play. And you guys did not shy away from that, Arianna.
No, we didn't. So I feel like they helped us prepare for that moment. We knew what we were getting ourselves into when we had playoffs, like coming up around the corner. So we were just preparing for that moment. So they really helped us out a lot.
Arianna, when I think about your brother Andre and covering him with the Thunder, you know, he was on the all defensive team in the NBA. And I think about your game. You don't leave that side of the court out of your mix as well. Why is it so important to you to be so good offensively and defensively at the same time?
So I say defense leads to offense. So you can't just be like a one-dimensional player. I feel like you got to have both sides of the court. You got to be able to play offense. You got to be able to play defense. So I feel like I pride myself on my defense a lot too, and my ability to like block and defend, and also comes with like my length and my height. And so I'm very grateful for what I have and what God's blessed me with.
Coach Greg Popovich always talks about how defense wins championships. That's all he cares about first. Then he starts looking at assist. Do you feel the same way, Rihanna?
Well, Rick, if you looked at some of our games this season, we certainly didn't win the game on offense. Certainly not on free throws. We had to put another rim in the rims to shorten the rim to actually make free throws. So defense, really and truly, defense carried us throughout the season. And I wouldn't even say in playoffs, it carried us throughout the season. And, you know, we were just talking about that because we're going to be speaking at the TABC clinic here in a few weeks. And, you know, we were talking about what we could speak over. And my assistant, he said, well, maybe we could speak over defense. I said, defense, like we don't do anything to really hone in on deep. You know what I mean? Like defense is intestinal fortitude. It's how hard are you going to go, you know? And, you know, obviously your puzzle pieces have to match with the speed and length and that kind of stuff. But I don't know. The girls just buy into defense. We run shell drill almost daily in practice. And for some reason they seem to like shell drill, maybe because it's physical, and I don't know, they can do whatever they want. But that was one thing that we were able to do consistently throughout the season is defense. Offense would come and go, but defense, we knew at the end of the day, at least we're going to defend. We might not be able to put the brown thing in the round thing, but we're going to play some defense.
Yeah, Sean Elliott with the Spurs talks about that so much with the young game. Everybody looks at Steph Curry and shooting threes, and Dame Dollar there in Portland and shooting from half court and making the logo threes. Kids and the younger players just don't buy into defense like your team has. Arianna, why is that you guys have been able to buy into all that?
I think we had the mindset of like, so obviously like there's a lot of influence going around like the NBA and everything. You see all the highlights are just like offense and like shooting threes, like making these really cool moves. And you're gonna have to play defense at some point. So just keeping that like in our heads, like we want to stop the other team from scoring as much as possible and then get the ball back on our end and then like score. So I just think that helped us a lot. Like our mindset, being able to defend obviously helped us a lot. And we've had like really quick players like Caitlin Whitlock, Natalie Huff, like guarding your position and being able to guard like 1 through 5. So we just like mix it up and we just have the same goal. So
it's awesome. Coach, well, looking at the state championship, it's just the second one in San Antonio history. Converse Judson did it recently in 2019. How special was it, Rihanna, for you and your city and your school to be able to do this in the Alamo Dome and basically in a home court advantage?
It was really special. We had a lot of people there, faculty, students, family members, random San Antonio Clark fans who were there supporting us, cheering us on, and going back to Judson. What was that in
2019? I think. Yeah.
They were the ones who knocked us out of the regional tournament. So it was either us or Judson going to state that year. So there's been a lot of either us or Judson kind of battling it out. So I'm glad to see San Antonio teams are making a name for themselves. But it's special. It's in our backyard. There's not a whole lot of travel that we have to do. The kids can kind of have somewhat of a normal day, sleep in their own, all that stuff matters, sleep in your own beds. But seeing that crowd and just how enthusiastic they were was certainly helpful. You don't necessarily realize it in the moment, but going back and looking at that and seeing the support that we had. I mean, just last night we had an FCA meeting and we rewatched the fourth quarter of the Capel game in the FCA meeting. And in the moment, you don't realize just how many people are out there supporting you. But in hindsight, having that support is really big, especially for the girls. Having someone behind them, a support system is really humbling.
Arianna, did you feel like you had to represent for San Antonio in that situation? Because it really felt like you were feeding off the energy of the crowd.
Definitely you got to go out there and represent your city. But I was feeding off, like we were all feeding off the crowd. Like we felt the energy, and the students like at Clark, like the student section, like they really brought it to us, and they like created these themes, and it was just really nice. And like, it was all fun, and everyone like wanted to be there. No one was forced to go. So it was really fun.
Yeah, Coach, and you look at it in recent years, this past decade, the DFW has really dominated both girls and boys basketball, but I get the sense that the pendulum is kind of switching right now. You talked about Judson, and obviously with Clark breaking through in this, do you feel like things are now going through San Antonio to get to that prize in Class 6A?
I definitely think that San Antonio is making a name for themselves. I mean, we mentioned Brennan earlier. Brennan's going to be really good. They're young. They're going to be really, really good in future years. So, I think part of that for us too was the opportunity to go out and travel to the Dallas area. We went to the Allen tournament. We started going, I think about 3 or 4 years ago. Was it 3? I don't remember. Last year? Okay, so 3 years ago. Last year is when we started going. And getting that level of competition and that level of exposure that we weren't getting in years prior, I think was huge. And at the end of the day, some of the games that we were playing in tournaments were not helpful for the girls. Like, it's going to be a win under the belt, but we wanted to make sure that we were playing games that were going to challenge them for opportunities like the state tournament.
Arianna, you're getting a lot of attention, obviously, in the recruiting area. What has that been like for you? Because they love your talent and they love your family name. They love everything about you.
Definitely. It's a really great opportunity for me, and like I've been working hard for like all of these like the moments in my basketball career, and being able to like take that in and like be grateful about it. It really like it means a lot to me also. I know I'm gonna get like a lot of attention from like the things like I'm accomplishing, but it's just being able to be humble about it. So yeah.
It's not your first rodeo, Coach, dealing with the big time schools in the recruiting game. How do you handle that? Because you want your girls like Arianna to get the attention, but at the same time, you don't want it to be a distraction.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I talked to a lot of coaches for Arianna, talked to a lot of coaches for Aaliyah, talked to a lot of coaches for Haley, really over the years. But what I do is I support the kid, and at the end of the day, I tell them all the time, I love these girls and they know that. I'm going to be hard on them. I'm going to rip them, but they know that I'm going to love them. And so whenever they leave our program, I just want to make sure that they're in good hands and they're going to be in a program who truly values them and loves them because, like Vic Schaefer has always said, at the end of the day, your kids have to like you to want to play for you. And I think, we have that mutual relationship. And so through the recruiting process, I just want to make sure that it's a good fit for each of the kids and that they're going to be treated well at the next level.
Rihanna, when you look at the girl that's sitting right next to you right now, she obviously has all the intangibles. She's 6'4", probably 6'9" with hair. And she has all the talent and all the ability to do everything she wants to do in life. We're going to see her on the professional level as well. But is there a part of her game that gets unnoticed that you really enjoy and thinks, something that really drives her?
I don't really know that I would say it goes unnoticed, but without a doubt, her shot blocking ability is really fun to watch. There's sometimes she covers like at least 10 feet. You think you're going to get a shot off, but you're not going to. And so sometimes if someone will wind up from the corner and I'm just thinking, I see Arianna in the paint, like, don't do it, don't do it, don't do it. And then she sends it in the stands and I kind of look around. I'm like, see, don't do it. I told you not to do it. I wouldn't say that it goes unnoticed, but it's certainly something that we pride her on. And, but it's not just about, we talk about her height and everything like that. Like, yeah, she's tall, but anybody can be tall. There's a level of skill that's required to be able to block like that and to rebound like that. You have to time it, you have to high point it. And volleyball, I really do think helps out with that. Leo is the same way. We tend to want to go through the body, but they learn how to block it high. So that's not something we don't notice, but I definitely think it's one of her strong suits that brings her attention and obviously helps us out a lot because we know if Natalie gets speed or Ramsey gets speed or Caitlin gets speed, we know Arianna's gonna be back in the paint. She's gonna swat it.
Arianna, you almost seem like you enjoy blocking the shots more so than anything in your game.
I definitely do. Like I said before, I pride myself on my defense. And I find it really fun blocking shots just because it's like a huge part of my game also. And just I feel like seeing their faces also make it better and then looking at my teammates and them hyping me up. It's a really cool moment and I enjoy every part of it.
Now, like me, you have super long legs, so I know you wear those extra long pants. If you don't, it looks like you're prepared for a flood. That's something I dealt with my whole life. There's no doubt about that. Do your legs ever get in the way of your game at all, or do you just use them as your advantage?
I definitely use it as my advantage. I feel like it doesn't really get in my legs. I haven't had someone try to like throw the ball under my legs before, so that's good. But not yet, at least. Do that now.
Well, Arianna, it was such a special moment after you won the state championship and you got that MVP trophy and you ran over and you hugged your parents. It was so emotional. I mean, I cried watching it. Tell me what was going through your mind at that moment.
A lot of things were going through my mind. It was very emotional. Like right after we finished up the little picture, like me holding the trophy, I look at my parents and like, they're like, come here. And then like, I go to them and then I just start bawling my eyes out just because I feel like, I worked so hard for that moment and being the last one of 7 to, actually like won the championship and like be able to get MVP. I know my parents are proud of me and that's what made me so emotional that night.
No one will ever take this away from you. You're going to be a state champion forever, and you may even be a back-to-back state champion. Now, Coach, we've always known that you're a good coach. We didn't need to have you win a state championship to tell us that. But does it justify everything you've done, all your hard work to get to this point to finally hoist that UIL state championship trophy?
I mean, it does. What's special to me about it is, we put a lot of time into it. And I think there's a lot of misconceptions as far as high school coaches are concerned. One, a lot of people don't think that we teach too. I'm a senior English teacher. I have 4 senior classes, and so I'm inundated with essays on a regular basis. And so to find time to both in season and out of season, to practice plan, to game plan, to watch film, and I'm a little bit OCD with the film piece of it. I fill a notebook full of scouting notes every single year, but it's special because years ago I can remember when the state tournament was first moved to San Antonio from Austin, going to it and wondering, man, what does it take? Like, I want to be that coach. I want that to be my team. Like, what does it take to get our team on that floor? And so last year was humbling in that, hey, we got the team on the floor. But it was almost, and looking back, it was almost kind of like a happy to be here kind of thing. And yeah, we're happy to be here, but that's not what we're there for. We're there to win it all. And so getting that opportunity this year, it was really, really humbling. And I think it just goes to show how much time all of us put into it, not just me, but my assistants put into it, the players put into it. And it's not just a, October through March season for us. I mean, it's year round. You got to put in the time year round in order to breed success. And just getting that opportunity was super, super humbling, super special. It did put a cap on it. And I'm really happy that I was able to do it with this group of girls, because that's another thing, I mentioned loving these girls, but I really genuinely do. And they're fun. They're fun to coach, so not all coaches get that opportunity to coach kids who they genuinely enjoy being around, and they enjoy them just as much off the court as they enjoy them on the court. And smart kids, every single one of them is on the academic all district team, so having all of those pieces of the puzzle definitely makes it rewarding. It's not just about coaching the skill, it's coaching the whole kid.
Arianna, how did Coach get you guys to believe in what she believed in winning a state championship when the school had never done that before? So
Coach Huey, the coach of the year, the great coach she is, she put a lot of time into us, and we had to return the favor. We had a group discussion. If we weren't doing it for us, we were gonna do it for Coach Huey. But she prepared us a lot, and we are really grateful for her and her preparation. That also came a long way throughout the season, and her just believing in us also made us believe in each other and believe in ourselves and know that we were gonna go back to state and win it all.
Well, I know you got to get working now on going back to back. Congratulations on the school's first ever state championship. Thanks so much for doing this. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Thanks so much for checking out Rick Renner, Texas High School Hysteria. Make sure you subscribe and never miss an episode. You can catch us on YouTube, Apple, and Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, Pandora, or all the other major podcast platforms. Tune in, and we will see you next week.